hello, and welcome. It is Monday, 7:30 p.m. And guess what time it is? It's time for the My Spa Bath and Body Show. I am your host, Margaret Harris, and I am the owner of My Spa Bath and Body Products, which can be purchased at www.myspa.etsy.com. And today I'm kind of doing an acoustic show, which means I don't have a whole lot of products and stuff here today because there's kind of a few topics I wanted to touch on. Of course, we're going to talk about skincare and all of that, but just a couple of things that have been going on that have been kind of talked about that I wanted to touch on. And so what we do here on the My Spa Bath and Body Show is we talk about things that have to do with the mind, body, and soul. And a lot of that has to do with image and how we see ourselves. And this weekend, I got on Netflix and I got on my Amazon Fire Stick, which I tell you, that Amazon Fire Stick will give you life, especially if you're part of Amazon Prime. I love it. And so I binge watched on two items. The first thing I watched was the Beyonce Homecoming, which was on Netflix. And the other was a movie called Moonlight that came out about 3 years ago that won an Academy Award for Best Picture. And so I want to talk about the two of those in the overall premise and how I kind of interpret them when it comes to image and who you are. So let's talk about the movie Moonlight. And it's basically a coming of age story of a young man. And this young man was raised by a drug addicted mother who would turn tricks for money for her drugs. You don't learn that till as you get into the movie, but it starts off with him meeting, I'm not going to mess up his name, Mahershala Ali, who plays a drug dealer. And the movie goes through, the main character is named Chiron, and his nickname is Little. And so he goes by the name of Little. So the movie starts off where he's being chased by some kids. He's being bullied, and he's chased into an abandoned apartment building. And Mahershala Ali plays a character named Juan, and he's a full-fledged drug dealer. And he goes and kind of rescues Little from hiding out in this apartment building. And they develop a friendship. The little boy Chiron, he doesn't have really a male figure to follow. So whenever he feels that he needs to be around someone, he reaches out to Juan, and they become good friends. And at the part one, this Juan is married to, or is dating Janelle Monáe, her character named Teresa. And so in a lot of ways, Juan helps Little, or Chiron, to start at least developing some type of self-worth. And the important thing that he tells him as he's a child, maybe 10 or 11, is that no one can tell you who you are. No one can tell you who you're supposed to be. So that is what Juan imparts in the little boy in the first part of the movie. A lot of different things happen. And as a child, the mother, like I said, she's on drugs. She, in one of her tirades, calls Chiron, and I'll just use the term, a faggot. And he doesn't know what that word means, so he turns to Juan and says, well, what is that? And Juan says, that's an ugly name that people call gays. And so he kind of says, oh, okay, but he hasn't necessarily come with his sexuality. In the second part of the movie, Juan has died, and Chiron is now in high school, and he's being bullied. And what happens, he has a best friend that we meet in part one. Now it's in part two, and they're seniors in high school or juniors, whatever. They're high school students. And Kevin is his name, his best friend. He comes off as braggadocious. He's far more popular than Chiron is. And, he wants to brag about all the women, the girls that he's been with. Well, it turns out that Kevin is attracted to Chiron and gives him his first sexual experience that he knows of, his first kiss and some other, sexual things. They don't have actual sex, but different things that awaken, if you will, Chiron. The next day, though, Kevin is goaded by the bullies to play a game where he keeps pushing Chiron down, and he complies with it because of that male bonding that they're doing. So what happens is that Chiron gets bullied, he goes home, thinks about it, and then when he comes back, he busts the main bully in the back of the head with a chair, and he's the one that gets arrested and put in juvenile. Part three, now we have Chiron is grown. And now he's a drug dealer in Atlanta. When he gets out of juvie, he goes to Atlanta and establishes his base. But guess who he's emulating? He's emulating Juan, because that's really all he knows. Even though he said, don't let anybody dictate who you are, he's still running and living that life that he learned from Juan. However, he has not pursued any other lovers, be it male or female. He just is making that money. Well, he gets a call from Kevin, and he decides to go see him. And they talk and laugh. And at the end, Chiron says, I never was with anybody but you in any way. And there's not like anything sexual afterwards. It's just he and Kevin kind of hold each other. And the reason I think that that's important for image is that so much of what we think we are is what we see or what we miss. So I can't actually say that was Chiron necessarily a gay man. The writer of the book was, but we don't really know because he never pursued anything. He didn't know what he was, but the only thing he did know is what he had seen, and that was Juan. So again, you can't let anybody tell you who you are, but please know that you're influenced by people who you're around to get your image. Second thing was Homecoming. So it was this by Beyonce. So she filmed behind the scenes look of her Coachella performance in 2018. So I am not a part of the Beehive. If there's a record on the radio that I like, okay, but you're not going to necessarily see me at a concert. You're not going to see me downloading any of her music or anything like that. But I don't mind her. But I've never listened to anything that wasn't played on the radio. Well, this Homecoming Netflix special got so many accolades. Oh, it was Black excellence. Oh, just great for the Black image. And in a lot of ways, I agree with that. In a lot of ways, I have a problem with it. I really appreciated the backstory of everything that happened in the backstory to preparing for it, because she used a lot of, she went to several HBCUs and found a band to play. She called it orchestra. I thought they were all from Prairie View State, but I guess they weren't. She had a lot of Black dancers. You didn't have to be skinny. You didn't have to be light-skinned. You could just be who you are and display your talent. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was great. Her part about motherhood and realizing that she couldn't be the same Beyonce that she was great. So, she came to terms with who she was now as a mother of 3 children. She said that she had really put it out there for Coachella, and she realized that she couldn't do it again. Not that she's old, but that she was not going to push herself like she did for this to get back to the old Beyonce. As well as, like I said, motivating and encouraging and really supporting HBCUs. I get that. But the part that bothered me, again, about this black excellence and black image was, like I said, I never listened to any of the lyrics of songs that weren't played on the radio. But when I heard, so many of the F-bombs and the, women, bitch, 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 I'm like, is that what our image is? And I was just really disturbed about it. But I was like, okay, Margaret, you're disturbed. Well, get this. I go into the grocery store yesterday on Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday, which, if nothing else, you would expect people to have just a little bit of respect for the day. Well, I'm in Giant, and there's this young lady in there, about 23 years old, that has a shirt on, F-U-C-K. It's just spelled out the word. And then it defines this. So she's walking through the grocery store right at the time when people are coming and going out of church. And that's the image she wants to portray, that she feels comfortable walking around in a store with F-U-C-K and the definition of the word on a T-shirt for children to see, for people who were just coming out of a spiritual experience to see, because she didn't care. And I couldn't get mad at her because I had just spent 2.5 hours watching this duality of Beyonce of, oh, black excellence, oh, and F you, and grab these balls, get these nuts, bitch. Oh, to me, that's not what black excellence is. And so I just was disturbed by the fact that everyone made this videography or whatever, documentary, such a big deal about black excellence. I think it was good, but we have to remember that Beyonce is a woman, makes a commercial product for people to buy. She has all types of different philanthropic efforts, and I love that, no problem with that. But we need to just put it in perspective, that image that she's putting out there is one that we need to be careful, or I think, in my own humble opinion, we need to be careful before we embrace it. So that's my little 2 cents. Like I said, I love my people. I come on this show. I love our image. And that's why I do this show, because our image has to do not only with what we look like, but who we are. So anyway, I said I was going to talk about skincare. And that's what I do. So anyway, but I just wanted to get that out because it's not all about what you see on the outside. It's what you put on the inside. And I think of all of the things that I said, I think the thing that bothered me the most was the young lady with the shirt on, right? I mean, really, that's what you have on a Sunday in the grocery store, and you think you look cute with that. I wanted to say something, but if she didn't care, she would have cursed me out. And I'm just not the one for that, because I may not curse, but I got something for you. Anyway, so we're going to talk about molasses and all different types of sugars and sweets we can use on our skin. And so I know that when I was growing up, and a lot of people before us, they used to take blackstrap molasses and put it on a spoon and use it, because that was like, between blackstrap molasses and cod liver oil, you should never get any disease ever at all. But I started thinking about it. What about on our skin? What can it do for us there? So I did a little research and had a little fun with it. So we're going to talk a little bit about blackstrap molasses and brown sugar and different things that we can do. And I'm going to have some recipes as well. So get your ink pen out, because we're going to talk about some things. Okay, so blackstrap molasses has been imported from the Caribbean islands since the time of the first settlers. Because it was more affordable than refined sugar, molasses was popular until the late 19th century. In fact, molasses was so popular that the British Crown passed the Molasses Act. You know, some people just got to make sure they get their money regardless. Of 1733, in order to discourage colonists from trading with the West Indies. You know what West Indies were, which was not under British rule. Colonists had to pay 6 pence for every gallon of molasses, which was commonly used in rum and spirits at the time. Well, you got affected by all of the different acts and everything with the Revolutionary War and all that. So that's how long people have been using it. But here's some interesting things that you can do with molasses because it does have all those antioxidants. It does have that glycolic acid, which is an alpha hydroxy acid. Again, one of those buzzwords you hear on TV. And one thing you can do is, if you have gray hair, some suggest that you can, by drinking molasses, you can drink 1 to 2 tablespoons of blackstrap molasses diluted in water and may see your hair going back to black. Additionally, experts recommend making your own molasses conditioner, mixing water and molasses and leaving it on your hair for 15 minutes. It's thought that the anti-aging antioxidants found in molasses works as a conditioner, reversing graying of the hair and hair loss. And as a matter of fact, I have a couple of hair suggestions for that old with that blackstrap molasses. So a couple of things that you can do is try making a couple of products. There's a few things that blackstrap molasses done. Blackstrap molasses is from raw sugar cane, while unsulfured molasses comes from ripe sugar cane and is not treated for preservation. However, one of the things that any kind of molasses has, it balances electrolytes, which can help relieve acne and other skin issues by encouraging new cell growth. Molasses can also help nourish hair strands and follicles. It's rich in potassium, copper, calcium, and magnesium, and also contains anti-inflammatory properties and antioxidants that promote smooth, toned skin. So, here's a couple of things we could try. We can try a molasses and turmeric facial cleanser, which everybody hears about turmeric. So you can use 1 teaspoon of turmeric, a half cup of filtered water or boiled water, let it sit, and 1 ounce of molasses. Boil the water and add the molasses directly to loosen it. Once the mixture is cooled, add the turmeric. So apply this to makeup-free damp skin and let it sit for a few minutes before rinsing off with warm water. Your skin should feel smooth, not dry, and not sticky. Another thing that I found with making a hair mask is you can also use that recipe as a face wash as well. You can go ahead and mix that water and honey together and use it as a facial wash. Again, let it sit and then wash it off. There's another one that has, like I said, for the face wash, dilute the syrup with water, apply the mixture to the skin, and let it sit for at least 5 minutes. Then rinse your face with warm water. Molasses is reported to help with acne, eczema, and rosacea as well. Also, you can use it in your hair to take the frizzies out. Dilute the molasses with warm water and transfer to a spray bottle to spray into frizzy hair. Get the hair damp enough and leave on for about 15 minutes, then rinse well. They also have here a molasses hair mask, and the author of this, her name is Kristen Collins Jackson. Now, what she did is she made a molasses hair mask. She diluted 2 tablespoons of molasses in a half cup of hot water, stirring until consistency was completely smooth. Then added 2 cups of homemade coconut milk and 5 drops of lavender essential oil. Then what she did is she applied the hair mask, and then first she made her hair nice and wet, and then applied evenly through her hair. She left the mask on for about 10 minutes and rinsed well with warm water. So that's 2 tablespoons of molasses, 2 cups of coconut milk, and 5 drops of lavender essential oil. And so what that does, when you mix that together, it makes it not sticky. And it ends up that her hair came out very soft. And this girl was a naturalista. So go ahead and try that. So those are some of the ideas with molasses. Of course, my favorite is sugar for scrubs and all types of things because I don't like salt. A lot of people use salt, but salt has a tendency to dry out your skin. So, as you know, we all want to stay away from eating brown sugar, but we want to make sure that we understand what it does for our skin. So the next sugar I'm going to talk about is brown sugar. Brown sugar contains glycolic acid, and that fights bacteria. Glycolic acid, like I said, is an alpha hydroxy oil, which is important in keeping your skin vivacious and healthy. Brown sugar gives you younger and fresher looking skin by breaking down your skin cells and helping to support your cell turnover. It also helps to improve sun damage and offers support to aging skin. Brown sugar is also a natural humectant, so it absorbs moisture from your environment and deposits it on your skin. Hydrating, conditioning brown sugar helps to keep the moisture locked in. So here are a couple of recipes for brown sugar scrubs. And again, what's the benefit? It's rich in antioxidants. It's going to help to eliminate the free radicals that will attack your skin. It contains alpha hydroxy acid. It exfoliates your skin without damaging it. And it locks in moisture. You can also use white sugar as well, which I have in my Feel Good Body Scrub, which is on www.myspa.etsy.com. And I also use, like I said, I use a lot of sugar in my soap products, like my body wash. I put sugar in that because, again, that has alpha hydroxy acid. And also it helps to produce suds and bubbles naturally. So I love it. But brown sugar, let's give you a couple of recipes. This first recipe is a brown sugar and coconut oil scrub for acne. Remember that coconut oil is going to kill bacteria, and so that's why it's going to be good for your acne. So you need a half cup of brown sugar, a half cup of coconut oil, and 2 to 3 drops of essential oil of your choice. If you have acne, you want to use tea tree oil, a little frankincense. You want to mix it all in a bowl, apply it to your face, and scrub in a circular motion. This says for 10 minutes. I would say more like 5, and then wash off. Do that once a week. And then another one, which is really good, is the brown sugar and honey. You know how much I love honey. What you need is a tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of raw honey, and then 1 tablespoon of olive oil or coconut oil, and 2 to 3 drops of your favorite essential oil. Again, all of these, you just combine all the ingredients in a bowl and let it stand for a few minutes, just to make sure everything is mixed, and gently massage into your skin and let it stay for another 5 to 10 minutes on your face, and then wash. So those are mostly for your face. For your body, you might want to try this brown sugar and vanilla scrub. You might want to make this for your man. Use it on his feet, because remember, vanilla extract is an aphrodisiac for men. So what you want to do is 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a half cup of olive oil, coconut oil, almond oil, and a half teaspoon of vitamin E oil. What you're going to do is make a foot scrub, and also add a little pumpkin. If you can find some pumpkin mash, add that in there with some lavender. Aphrodisiac for men. Remember, it does what chocolate does for women, vanilla. You can feed him some vanilla ice cream while he's scrubbing his feet. Of course, take a bowl and combine all the ingredients, and then adjust the amount of oil according to your preference. Apply the scrub to your skin, and you can do his feet and up his legs. And if y'all know each other like that, you can get in the shower and give him a full body scrub. Get those elbows. Remember, it has that vanilla and pumpkin, and rinse it off well, and whatever's whatever. And rinse off with warm water. So you always got to get your thing, I always got something in there. Of course, you can use coffee grounds. And this is a really good one for lightening your skin, is to use a brown sugar and lemon scrub. But remember, anytime you use lemon or orange essential oils, don't do them in the sunlight. Do it at night. So with this brown sugar and lemon scrub, you want a half cup of brown sugar, a half a lemon, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and 1 tablespoon of honey. Squeeze the juice out of the lemon into a bowl. Add brown sugar, oil, and honey and mix well. It should be a medium to thick consistency. Apply the scrub to your face and neck and massage with your fingertips for, again, this says 10 minutes. I'd say 5. And then leave it on another 5 to 10 minutes and then wash off. You should do that once or twice a week. You should find your skin tone brightening and all of that. But you want to make sure that you don't use it in the sun. So that is a quickie. I have a whole bunch more to go, but there's always next week. I want to end off with a song that I can't play it because the YouTube gods will say something, but it's a song by Lettucey that I've been listening to all day, and it's called Everything Changes. And again, talking about image and what we see and who we are. This really, the lyrics really came back that even as we see who we are, just know that we're always going through metamorphosis. And sometimes we have to take time out to actually process where we are in life and if we're really headed in a way that we want to. So I'm going to read these lyrics since I can't play them. And it's called Everything Changes by Lettucey. It's on the album Turn Me Loose. It's a bonus track version. And it says, I went away for the weekend. I sat back and started thinking. And when it came to mind, I began to smile because it's so true. It's so true. Things never stay the way I want them to be. When I was younger back then, it was simplicity. People care too much, but like the season, it all has changed. I wish it wouldn't be that way. Can't bring back what used to be. Life don't stay the same. Thinking about what used to be. Everything changes. Life always changes. Everything changes. There was a time when I gave up on people. Disappointment led me to just be alone. Then one day I was told to just stand on my own. It's so true. It's so true. Just forgive, no regrets. Go on and live and forget it. You can't go back again. Learn to live in the present. Learn from your mistakes. Like the seasons, it all has changed. Okay, everything must change. Can't bring back what used to be. Life don't stay the same. Thinking about what used to be. Everything changes. Life always changes. Okay, it's time to heal, time to love, time to let go, and time to move on. It's all right to laugh. It's all right to cry. It's all right to be and choose life. Can't bring back what used to be. Life don't stay the same. Thinking about what used to be. Everything changes. Life always changes. Everything changes. So that's what I want to tell you, is that everything changes, but just live your life for the present and enjoy each day. And don't let anybody tell you who you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to be. That's my time, and we shall be back next week on the My Spa Bath and Body Show. Yay! And if you want to buy any of my products, www.myspa.etsy.com. Take care. Bye. Roll us out, Ron J.